Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Icenia campaign. Last time, we went to war with these northern Hibernian tribes, and at the end of the episode, left in a huff because it turned out we cannot turn them into feudatories for reasons I still don't actually quite understand. I will admit it has been a few weeks since I played last, although I do record these episodes long in advance and stagger the release dates, so the bi-weekly every couple days release schedule you've been enjoying on this channel has probably led to you seeing this episode the same distance from the last episode, even though this was probably my longest hiatus from the series behind the scenes. Of course, I don't make one episode every couple days, I make multiple episodes in bursts, but you can probably figure that one out. That's how most people play games. Anyways, what's going on is we are marching into Durinia Australis. Australis? Yeah. And our enormous, almost 12,000 man army is about to obliterate, despite the river crossing away into the forest, the Hibernian coalition army, and by which I mean it's mostly Durinia, and then Waluntia is there too. We also have many notifications up here, and quite a lot of stuff going on in the background that I do need to take account for. But I want to just quickly finish this war, get this over with, do this battle, take over this land. Well, actually, defeating them is enough because this will go into our sway because we control the fort, and that'll be it for this war. They did manage to actually split up there. That was unfortunate. Donwyn leads everyone to victory as expected. Good stuff. And now if we just move in here, we'll threaten them, hopefully catch them before they take us back, but it actually doesn't matter if they take this back, I think. Once this is under our control, I think we win. Let's proceed. All right, they are going to run. But once I control this land, that's the end of the war, so that's fine. Let's just go ahead, make sure I'm recording. Yes, I am. I always get scared about that. There we go, 100% war score. Now, here's the situation with the peace deal. I had gone into this war fully expecting, and again with Imperator Rome, I feel as though many of my misplays are because of unexpected game mechanics that I wasn't aware of or couldn't have predicted. Here's a prime example. I complained at the end of last episode about why I feel cheated by this discovery, that for some reason I can't turn the Hibernian tribes into feudatories. I don't know what the deal is. It may have something to do with them starting as migratory tribes, which I think might be the case, but I'm actually not sure about that. If you know in the comments why this is, please let me know. Or if anyone commented on the last video, sorry, again, I haven't seen those comments because those will be made when the video is released a long time from now. So, yeah. Either way, here's what we're going to do. We are just going to directly take this land ourselves. And I know that's going to cost a lot of aggressive expansion. But here's the thing. We actually have room to have that aggressive expansion. It's not going to really destabilize things. Our stability change is totally fine right now. It can probably sustain that difference. We're also on very good stability. The loyalty to subject states doesn't matter very much at this point, and the claim fabrication speed doesn't matter that much. And yes, it will affect our international relations, but we've done a pretty good job at boosting our relations with the nations that we care about liking us, such as Carthage, which I will revisit in this episode just to see what's going on. The other upside to taking this land directly is we don't have to deal with the micromanagement we had to deal with Brigantia. Honestly, I'm even debating how long I want to keep Brigantia as a feudatory. It may be just more simple to vassalize them, or rather integrate them, even before we finish taking over Caledonia, because it will take a long time to colonize everything. But the other nice thing about taking this land directly is we now have, and I did remind myself of this by watching the previous episode, an ideal governor character for the Caledonia region, which of course is our daughter, not in line for succession, but she is able to do offices because we're a more gender egalitarian barbarian nation. And so someone in the family who I quite like the idea of being an important political character, someone who can probably be quite trusted, is now going to be the governor, or is the governor. And this will put territory into her control, and so not as big of a deal as if we had an untrustworthy rival governor that we were trying to keep depowered. So all that being said, another advantage to doing it like this is, if you take a look at the culture, It is all one culture. There are no subcultures on Hibernia. This is one of those weird things that probably should be modified when the game, or good lord, if the game ever gets updated again. This needs to change. I know that, yes, in this time period, we know very little about Hibernian culture, and this is more accurate to how the Romans saw it, which is how a lot of the game mechanics are kind of modeled, is based on the Roman perspective from the texts of the period. But one game mechanic effect of having monolithic Hibernian culture is it's super easy to deal with the culture on Hibernia by just making Hibernian an integrated culture. Yes, our first integrated culture. I'm not going to colonize Hibernia the way that I've been colonizing mainland Albion, because with only Hibernian there, and that taking up only one integrated culture slot, it totally makes sense, given that there aren't actually that many Hibernians in sort of occupied tiles. There's lots of Hibernians living in the unoccupied tiles. What this means, though, is the relatively small number of Hibernians are going to be easier to manage if I integrate them. And I can eventually colonize it anyways. It just takes longer if I integrate them. But if I integrate them, it also means I don't need to worry as much about trying to deal with an unhappy population that's not on my mainland island. It might be harder to deal with, for example, rebellions if they're happening on Hibernia. That being said, of course I have a navy, but I just think for a couple reasons this outcome of this war is fine. We're going to not worry too much about it. Yes, it doesn't feel as optimal, but in this situation, it is, I think, the best option I can go with. And in this series, I will fixate on what is the most optimal unless I force myself to just go ahead with the options that I have. So we're going to go ahead and take the steel. Waluntian and Darinian Hibernia Septentrionalis are going to go to me. Yes. All right, and now the other nice side effect of this is we actually take all their elites into captivity. We haven't actually had this event in like 30 years because we haven't done any warring in such a long time. So we finally are going to be able to do some dastardly things with these noble factions. All right, so my queen, the Gaelic local power of Darinia, accepted our generous peace offer. All right, so we already know what's gonna happen with this. So we can lose some popularity on Dogland. That's fine. The Hibernians won't like this, but it's not as bad as it could be. This is worse for Hibernian culture happiness. And we could technically do this to lose about one aggressive expansion by doing it on both groups. But, at this point, we're losing 0.24 aggressive expansion per month. So this is only 4 months or so, as opposed to hundreds of gold, potentially, by doing it like this. And yes, I have a lot of gold. I do want to start using that gold a bit more efficiently. I've been distracted by the politics and the war and just the micromanagement of our big kingdom. But this is the episode where we get it together. We're coming back here to the series. Well, I am. For you, it's been the same amount of time since you saw the last episode. But I'm coming back. I'm going to get it together. We're going to salvage this increasingly stagnant situation and start making some moves this episode. So we're going to imprison the leaders and then have a massive spam of leader imprisonment. There we go. Britonic minor characters everywhere. And immediately we're going to go ahead and start getting to work here. So let's go ahead and release. Nope, that's not the right button. Well, didn't mean to release him, but I meant to click this. Sell into slavery. We missed out on a couple pieces of gold. That's fine. Not worry about that too much. Sell into slavery. And I think releasing the prisoner gave me some sort of bonus as well. Maybe improve my reputation somehow. Sell into slavery. All right, let's just make our way through here and sell everybody into slavery. We'll just go ahead and release the infant. That's fine. You are going to be sold into slavery, as are you. Make our way down here. Sell you into slavery. Getting some good money for this. 11 gold is the best. Unfortunately, I don't think you can see the amount of gold. Maybe you can. Let me check the interface a bit more closely. You actually can see the amount of gold. I don't think it's worth it to not sell a noble into slavery if they give you less gold. You're usually aiming for that 11.50. I'm not sure what modifies that. Again, it doesn't really say. Like 8 gold. I think 8 gold is worth 0.5 tyranny when you're not playing a republic, and I need to make that clear. Don't do this if you're a republic. It's a terrible idea. Dealing with tyranny as a republic is extremely frustrating, and you don't need to make it worse for yourself by gaining extra tyranny for gold. Republics are pretty good at making money without doing this, so yeah, anyways. Now we're up to 7 tyranny, which has this effect. One nice thing about the tyranny is it improves our aggressive expansion change, so hey, there's that. These other modifiers aren't going to be a huge deal. Yeah. Also, the slave output is kind of nice. But yeah, so that's that. All right, now we're back. And we can go ahead and turn off our levy. Let's go ahead and... Okay, we got to wait for them to finish moving. That's fine. Let's give it a few days. There we go. Stand down the levy, please. Very good. Get some army experience. Is that what that's called? Yeah, military experience. All right, and the levies are not going to be raisable again for a few months. That's not going to matter at all. Okay, so with that done, we now have some more territory. Oh gosh, my mouse. For, wow, okay, why is my mouse... Every single time I record Imperator Rome, my mouse starts to not work. I don't know what the deal is. My mouse is in league with the Hibernians. It's trying to sabotage me. Nothing will stop me, though. So our daughter, the governor of Caledonia, Winoma Diwika, she is the governor. Let's take a quick look again at her traits. So extra zeal, extra freeman happiness locally, so that's kind of good. Charisma and whatnot. Province commerce is pretty good, and the chaste one doesn't matter that much. Okay, so here in... Oh my gosh, this mouse has got a... I just replaced the battery recently too. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so in terms of where the provincial capital should go, this current location is a god tier capital location in terms of my usual standards. Look at how many locations it borders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 border locations. That's really good. However, it's a forest, and can my disdain for forests be overcome by the strategic goodness of that location? I think not. I think I don't like forests that much that I don't want to have the capital be there, even though that's a good location. Fortunately, there's an alternative. Let's see, this is actually... Hold on, maybe there's not. I thought this was a plains, but this is actually a marsh tile. Let's see here. This is hills. Hills is still no good. Because mostly it's the civ level that I don't like to put cities in. Actually, all the terrain around here is pretty terrible. This is another... I mean, this is Hibernia. I don't know what I was expecting. The terrain on Hibernia, like with Caledonia, will generally be pretty rough. So our options are limited. Marsh up here, marsh here. Are there any plains coasts? Are there any plains at all? Okay. Here's a plain. Only 1, 2, 3, 4. It is a good central location, so it does control the center, but the coasts are unguarded. Basically no other good locations. But I've made such a big deal this whole series about not having cities or capitals in the forests or the hills, and definitely not the marsh. Marsh is even worse than forests and hills. Ablania might be a better option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a really good location coverage-wise. It also protects a route up this coast and extends pretty far this direction. It's not very central in the province, but I already control it, so that's a good start. The other thing, too, is it only borders, like, on the south, this nation here, I border... I could go to war with them just as soon as I have a casus belli on them, so that's not a big deal. And in the north, it's just one nation. I can go to war with them super easily. I actually have a casus belli on me, because they probably had it on this territory, so I can clean up this area very easily. And... let's see here. In the long term, once I have everything colonized, this will be a good location. I'm a little starved for good locations given the bad terrain, and I think I'd rather have a location that has good potential for future cities than pick a bad location just because it's in a good spot in terms of like access to water and whatnot. So we're not going to have any, like, here's the thing. I don't care as much about having like a farmland port city with a river in an area where it's not going to ever have like a huge population anyways. So this more central location might even make more sense to control more territory. So we're going to have Ablania be the location. Let's stop worrying too much about that. Go ahead and move it over. 30 for that. Yikes. Oh yeah, because it's not our home location. That's fine though. Okay, so this is pretty severe. This is mostly coming from Voluntia Orientalis, which is, yeah, it's this one here. This is where all the population is. Let's go ahead and destroy that fort. And actually, let's destroy this fort too. I don't think I'm going to worry about forts at all over here. It'll be too expensive. I'm not scared about not having fort coverage for these wars with these northern tribes. It's not. I'm going to win those wars, so that's that. Any other buildings to get rid of? Farming settlement is fine. You have a slave estate. I guess I'll keep you like that for now. This isn't going to be turned into a city. This is like the bottom of my city upgrade list, so we're not going to worry about min-maxing this too much. Farming settlement. There's going to be a lot of sheep on Hibernia, as you might imagine. Get rid of that. Anything else? Farming settlement is fine. Okay, so lots and lots of farming settlements. Okay, so that looks fine. Now the all-important, wow, cultural moment here. Let's go ahead and find the Hibernian culture. Here it is. So they're not very pleased with me, but they might be more pleased when I, how do I do this here? I think I integrate them, yeah, citizenship. So if I give them the right to become citizens, that counts as integrating them. So this will counteract this will counteract the unhappiness they have for, how long is this lasting for? Until 506. I can't do the math in my head right now. Either way, this is going to integrate them and open up more options for me to interact with them. Yes, I will eventually sort of like colonize Hibernia with Iceni, and I'll eventually Iceneize. That's a terrible word. What a cursed word. I'll Iceneize the Hibernians. Oh, by the way, I just noticed this. Look at my slave numbers. Oh my god. Okay, I didn't even realize how big my slave economy was. Holy moly. Jeez, I have more. I think I have like almost like twice as many slaves, or I have like a comparable number of slaves to the number of all my other people put together. Jeez. That's a little worrying, actually. We'll come back to that later, but I didn't realize how bad my slave dependence had gotten here. Oh, let's not pause like that. No, thank you. But let's go ahead and set the Hibernians as freemen. I don't think I can set up a colony first. That would be a little cheesy. It's in the wrong spot anyways, so let's not worry about that. Well, actually, hold on. If I do set up a colony, I think I can set up a colony and then turn them into an integrated culture, because the colony will simply establish a large population center at Ablania, which I would like to do. That might be handy, especially because I need to do a lot of colonization in the future. So let's go ahead and wait for a month. In the meantime, what are my options here? Yeah, this is the monarchy switch thing. We're not going to do this. It's the pretender support. Not much I can do about that for now. Okay, we have a civil war allegedly breaking out in 21 months. What's the issue here? What is, okay. What's your issue here? Power base. You are in the Urkii family? Right. You are. Alright, have we given you the free hands? We have not. We could give you the free hands. Corruption is already pretty bad. What's my corruption budget right now? I'm not touching it currently. Yeah, since I'm a major power, the wages for characters is creeping up quite a bit, but our economy can definitely handle it. In fact, I think our economy can probably handle increased wages. This might be worth doing now that we have such a good income. Yes, I know this may not be very efficient. In fact, it definitely isn't efficient to do it like this. But I only have 2 governors, and reducing the corruption in my bureaucracy early on like this, and just keeping this at this point and trying to establish my economy around having this on might be a good long-term strategy. Let's take a look and see what it does. So 21.03. I think this is worth it. I think having less corruption it'll do a lot to improve the loyalty situation. Because here's the thing. In this game, and this is something I do give this game credit for, you can't simply bribe every disloyal character indefinitely to be loyal to your state. There's a lot of things that cause disloyalty, a lot of things that are kind of hard to control or anticipate, like veteran loyalty to that person, or cohort loyalty, I guess you'd call it, or power base. How power base is calculated is a little hard to understand, even for me. And that being said, this is one way to directly reduce corruption, is just to pay everybody more. We're going to go with that. I think it is worth it to spend a couple gold per month on this. And really, if you think about it, we're going to be making more money. Because again, the reason we're taking over Hibernia, say it with me, everybody, exporting goods to the Germans. Hope you said it with me, IRL. But yeah, we're going to be ruthlessly ransacking all these lands for the goods, although Hibernia doesn't exactly have that many goods. Livestock for days is going to be going overseas, I suppose. We already have a couple extra from here. We'll be able to sell these probably on the monthly tick. Okay, so that being said, we could give you the free hands, which would make your corruption pretty bad, but of course now it's going to be improving. Or we could just bribe you. What do I need political influence for right now? Here's the thing. So local autonomy is going to improve the happiness here quite a bit. But I'm not... Although that's doing a lot to improve the loyalty here. I could set this to cultural assimilation, which probably is still worth it, even though I'm integrating the Hibernians next month. I think... That's a tough call. The thing is, integrating them is mostly just to keep their happiness in a good spot in the short term. It's fine to still work on integrating them, or work on assimilating them, or alternatively do something else. I think this is actually fine for now. I just want to avoid this province rebelling, which it will if I really change things up. So let's leave it like this. The unhappiness here from being conquered will go down, and we already are only at 65 because we switched the capital around, so let's leave it alone. And also setting up the colony will make them mad even more, so let's not mess with that for now. So all that is to say, we do actually have, I think, some political power free to use. Let's take a quick look actually at our... yes, these are all on the right thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. We'll bribe you. That will, let's see... loyalty and corruption. That's fine. Very good. Now the power base of the Civil War agitators has been diminished enough, so that's fine. Actually, hold on. Yeah, we're fine. 16.18. That's fine. We only need to worry about this if it goes above the threshold, so we'll leave it like that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and resume. Wait until the 1st of November. Very good. Okay, what was I going to do here? I was going to go in and see, did this get moved? Oh my gosh, make our way down here to the Hibernians. Only 17 people. Okay, so Ablana gets the colony. Very good. Yeah, so them having a colony slows down integration, but I don't care about integrating them super fast. I just care about having them be happy, which I consider the integration route to be better happiness on the way there. Like, eventually it is obviously preferable for everybody in my nation, at least on Albion, to be a Kenny, but it's fine if they're not a Kenny and not rebelling at the same time. So I've been min-maxing it so much over on Britannia, but in Hibernia, I just don't have the resources to colonize everybody over here. They're like a different group from me. It's just better to do it like this. So, but let's found the colony in Ablania anyways. It will give them minus 6%, but that will be mostly counteracted by the plus 5% from integrating them, giving them that sweet, sweet citizenship, which may also add some interesting political events too. All right. I found colony in Ablania. This will also, by the way, be our only colony available through this colony mechanic, at least. It's confusing again because you colonize this land and then you set up a cultural colony, but this will be our main Kenny center for now, is going to be Ablania. That's fine by me. This is already a decently central location on the Isle. and the actual land I'd be fighting to take over is so scarce. This is fine. So, all right, found the colony. All right, Ablania, a Icenia, an Iceni colony. The arrival of Iceni settlers has hardly endeared the local population to us, but the foundation of a colony in this area is without a doubt the best way to exert control here in the long run. Soon even the local Hibernian inhabitants will see how our city will prosper and surpass any previous settlements they may have had in this area before the land was confiscated. Alright, so we're going to shift over a whole bunch of slaves, tribesmen, or really it's mostly one noble and one citizen, then a bunch of slaves and tribesmen. Wow, I really do have just such a slave economy. This is for the best, allegedly. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead. Hey, you didn't like that? Well, fortunately for you, you can now vote. Just kidding, we're a monarchy. So this will cost 5 political influence, okay? This will start an integration process, which, when complete, will give them equal rights to our primary culture and protect them from assimilation. Okay, this is a different... let's see here. So if this actually makes them permanently protected from assimilation, I thought it just slowed it down, but this actually does protect them. You can see how infrequently I ever do this. I forget how the mechanic works. So, okay, so what's the modifiers here? So this will make the Iceni 4% less happy. This is minus 0.20 monthly stability change while it's happening. You know what? Sorry, Hibernians. I don't think I can quite justify. I do want you to be a Iceni someday. I think integration makes more sense for mainland nations where I'll be unlikely to move Iceni over. This is still within my sphere as I consider it, so we're gonna not integrate them, but maybe there's something else we can do to make them a little less upset. Could lose some stability, which is probably fine, and boost their province loyalty is actually good, and also boost their cultural happiness. Let's see here. Intermarriage. So these all cost, these are 5, this is 10. These all boost loyalty of the province by 10, which is very good. It's pretty low right now. This gives them lots of cultural integration speed, which is not going to matter, actually. 6% for these 3 and not this one. This one boosts their freeman output and reduces their slave happiness. Again, I don't care about slave happiness, but freeman output is okay. But I mostly care about getting something that boosts the happiness. So I'm not going to worry about this one. So 6% happiness. This upsets the Iceni by 6% for 60 months. That actually might be substantial enough to... But then again, 6% culture happiness. 10% pop assimilation speed actually is something a bit more useful. So now I'm actually going to probably... Well, I'll have to be very careful about when I switch the governor policy from local autonomy to cultural assimilation, because the assimilation speed will matter most once I have the cultural assimilation thing going. I could grant this right later, actually, when I'm switching to the new governor policy in Northern Hibernia, to time it up like that. So let's do it like that, actually. So in the meantime, pick either of these. So slave output is not a huge deal. I don't have that many Hibernian slaves. And Iceni are 3% less happy for only a few years. That's fine. 6% happiness with Hibernians. Or 6% citizen happiness in Icenia. This is only the citizens, though, so I think this one is probably the best one. Right of inheritance. Let's do it like this. All right, so by guaranteeing the right of inheritance for culture, we are ensuring that the family fortunes of its members are not squandered or usurped by the citizens of our country. All right, Hibernian right of inheritance. Often not possible to revoke. We are going to give the Hibernians some extra rights, but again, we're going to eventually culturally consume them, so there's not going to be any Hibernians eventually left to enjoy these extra rights. And it's only because this is not a Protonic culture, so it's more important than usual to keep them pleased. I mean, if you look at how they are compared to these guys are very unhappy. Right of inheritance, that boosts it a little bit. Stability did go down slightly. That's fine. All right. And Ablania does now have a more substantial population, so that's good at least. And yeah, so I actually didn't get to it this episode because I'm going to go ahead and end here. I don't want to do too long an episode again. But I will mention what I'm planning to do next. So if we look here, we still need that stuff to control Rhododinia. If we look here, can't colonize this, still can't colonize this. This mission will not be able to be advanced in the normal regard, so we're going to leave that alone. The alternative is we start working on Caledonia. And let's see here. We do have a Casus Belli on them. Yeah, take Caledonia. Cancel. So the piece, what's it called? The truce with them is over, so we could resume war with Karnakia and Texelia. And I think that's what we're going to do next. But the longer-term, more interesting plan we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and make our way into Gaul. I want to start exerting control over the mainland, mostly because I'm getting a little scared of Rome. They're kind of going crazy in Illyria, and that's a bad sign. Carthage is losing against Rome in the grand scheme of things. I do want to boost my relationship with Carthage. An alliance is still pretty far away. I am far inferior to them, even though I am the regional superpower. They're a global superpower, all things considered. They're actually, let's see here, they have no allies. Yeah, they're basically diplomatically isolated. Let's see. They're actually at war with Rome right now. Okay, so it's not going well for Carthage. And this is a war over Siculia, so this is another war over Sicily. And Rome is just at war with Carthage, and its feudatories. Oh, also Adricia. Independent Adricia, eh? Okay, this is a little cursed. Oh man, this is really cursed. Let's not look at that. But if we do want to eventually... Because here's the thing. I don't want, on principle, to be Carthage's friend for no reason. I only want to be Carthage's friend if it lets me get a way into a situation where I can weaken Rome. Now, I definitely can't defeat Rome one-on-one, or even two-on-one with Carthage. Carthage is losing against Rome, and it's, got its allies already. It's also fighting a bunch of, I think these are Roman puppet states. But what I can do, in a bit of a barbarian twist, is if I find a way into a war against Rome, and again, it'd be through an alliance with Carthage, Carthage or another nation that Rome is attacking, and then sneak in with my army on my navy, just discreetly come into the area, and just start pillaging the Italian peninsula. I don't need to defeat Rome and take land from them. I need to burn down their core. That's the only way to slow them down, is to destroy their economy. And if their legions are not around, if their legions are in Africa or in Illyria, and I'm able to just kind of sneak in and come in and sort of, Second Punic War Hannibal style, just kind of make my way into their core and start destroying everything. That's kind of the best way I can think of to take on Rome and weaken them before they become the unstoppable mid-game juggernaut that they often become in this game, because the AI is able to take advantage of the natural advantages that the Roman nation starts with and starts near. So that's kind of the long-term plan, is find a way to sneak into the kind of Mediterranean sort of geopolitics and try and weaken Rome somehow. But before we do that, we have to establish a base of operation on mainland Europe. We cannot possibly support some sort of wild excursion from Britannia all the way to Rome. So this is my long-term mid-game plan, is to take on Rome. I'm more scared of Rome than Carthage, even though Carthage is closer to us, because Rome already, as you can see by the territory they've taken, is winning against Carthage in their successive Punic Wars. And Rome will also probably do better because it's in the better location. All the reasons that Rome in real life did quite well in this time period. So the plan is, step one, take land over here on the east coast of Gaul. And then step two is start to take land in Iberia. And step three is possibly take more Iberian land, then have a jumping off point, have the naval range to reach Rome. And that's kind of loosely the plan. So we're starting off by establishing a mainland presence in Gaul. And I am thinking of Icenia as my target. They would be a very natural first mainland location to go to. It's a very self-contained region just on the peninsula here. And this gives me pretty substantial naval range down to the northern Iberia. So I will continue to think about this and plan things out. I wanted to wait until Donwin passed away to kind of start these plans. I want to stay on the islands until the succession is resolved, because that could bring all sorts of complications. But that is loosely... Also, did I have my naval thing? Okay, I didn't. Good. I'm glad I didn't have this going the whole time. Very good. So that's kind of loosely what I'm planning. So that's sort of the long-term plan here for the series. So I know the last 10 episodes or so since we became a monarchy have been a little bit more slow-paced. I am conscientious of that. I do apologize, but as you can see, even when we're seemingly not doing that much, we're not really going to war, there's a lot of stuff happening in the background. There's a lot of character action happening. There's a lot of economy action happening. And I'm always trying to put us in a better and better position. This game is pretty hard, and even when you are locally doing quite well, there's always a bigger fish in the sea, and we are not safe, even as a kingdom, even as a major power. I think we're a major power? Yeah. Even as a major power, we're only a more tempting target for future Rome. If Rome is able to do its Gallic conquest like it did in real life, I don't think we can possibly defeat them. So we need to get to them while they're still in the early middle game before they really balloon out of control. Or cross our fingers and toes that someone over here is able to stop them. The Seleucids are definitely preoccupied. I mean, Egypt's doing pretty well, but that's Egypt for you. Antagonids are a cursed abomination. And where is Macedon? Macedon is kind of getting destroyed. Macedon's in serious trouble here. There's all sorts of crazy stuff happening over here. Let's not look at that too closely. But yeah, that's the long-term plan. We are going to go ahead and start to advance those plans. I still want to wait until Donwin passes away, just so there is a sense of transition to the Asismia conquest. But in the meantime, we do have more wars in Caledonia. We can feed land to Brigantia. We have things to do, and we have wars to fight. Plus, we can still take on land in Hibernia. I think at this point, I'm even considering, honestly, aborting the mission. The fact that you have to colonize the land to advance these missions makes this very difficult to play around, and it might be better to just take a different mission, to be honest. We got a couple important claims from this, so it might be fine. I'll consider this in between parts, and next episode I will decide if we want to continue with this mission tree or abort it, and just kind of cut our losses. We're going to be able to get claims through political influence. It's not impossible to get the claims otherwise, and this is a tree that mostly is about getting you claims and a few minor bonuses, but that'll be that for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.